Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a really powerful message about how we handle change, the new and the unexpected. This comes from Pst Femi Junaid, delivered during a Zoom midweek service for Glory Christian Ministries, Pretoria. We're going to break down his key ideas on the psychology of change and, maybe more importantly, how to actually navigate it.
So the message kicks off with this incredibly direct and personal idea. It's not some abstract concept for some other time. Nope, it's saying that every single one of us, you and me, right now, we're in a transition. We're all on a journey from where we were to where we're headed next.
Okay, so let's get into the meat of it. If transition is this constant thing, why does it feel so hard so often? Well, a huge theme here is our basic human tendency to resist whatever's new, especially if it messes with our comfortable routines or challenges what we've always believed. So what's really going on behind that resistance? To really explore this, the sermon brings up a story from the Bible, specifically from the book of Acts. It's all about the Apostle Peter, who gets this shocking instruction from God that's basically about to flip his entire world upside down. Now, to really get the weight of this, you have to understand, for Peter, this was unthinkable. This command to eat animals that his tradition had labeled unclean for, forever, it wasn't just a new recipe suggestion. It was a direct hit to a core part of his identity and his faith. It was a completely unprecedented new thing.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because you see this direct collision laid bare. On one side, you've got Peter's instant rejection. It's just pure instinct, rooted in tradition. Not so, Lord. I mean, he knows who he's talking to, but his internal programming is so strong, he just pushes back. And on the other side, a totally new principle, a massive paradigm shift that says, hey, those old rules, they're obsolete.
And that's the core takeaway right there. Peter's first reaction, his resistance, it all came from not getting the bigger picture. You see, the instruction wasn't really about lunch. It was a symbolic act to show him that people he once thought of as unclean were now meant to be welcomed. His lack of understanding was the real barrier. And the message doesn't stop there. We get another powerful example of this same resistance, but from a different story, the 12 spies who were sent to check out a promised new land. I mean, this new place was supposed to be their destiny, their big opportunity. But 10 of them came back with a report that wasn't about possibility. It was soaked in fear. Wow. This line is so revealing, isn't it? They didn't just report the facts. There are big guys there. No, they let the challenge completely redefine who they were. Their fear of the unknown, these giants, was so huge that it completely twisted how they saw themselves. They felt tiny, powerless. And just like that, they shut the door on this amazing new opportunity before it even had a chance. So what we're learning here is that this resistance to change, whether it's Peter's gut reaction or the spy's scary report, it's not just some random thing. It's actually driven by a very specific set of internal attitudes that keep us psychologically chained to the past. The message breaks these down into 4 main buckets. First up, you've got that classic fear of the unknown, just like the spies. Then there's the comfort with what's familiar, that pull to go back to the Egypt you know, even if it was miserable. Third, and this one's big, is pride. That resistance to being taught something new. And finally, there's the simple mindset of just valuing the old way more than any potential new way. But just knowing what holds us back is only half the battle, right? So let's flip this around. Let's look at the solution. Here's a practical framework for building a new mindset, one that can help us navigate all the transitions we're guaranteed to face. The sermon gives us this really clear 5-part framework. It all starts with being open-minded and, get this, actually expecting new things to happen. Then you have to actively let go of the past, the hurts and the successes. Step 3 is about moving forward based on what you believe, not just what you can see. And then these last 2 are critical. It demands humility, that willingness to be teachable, and patience with the whole process. Because, let's be real change almost never happens overnight. This leads to such a fascinating question. Because it's easy to say, yeah, I'm open-minded, but what happens when that new opportunity shows up in a package you just don't recognize? This brings us to a fantastic final analogy about seeing value in unfamiliar forms. So get this. The pastor tells this story about a man in South Africa who finds a huge pile of US dollars. But he only knows what South African rands look like. He has no clue what he's holding. He just sees this weird, unfamiliar paper and ends up selling a whole fortune for just enough cash to buy a single meal. And that, right there, is the danger for every single one of us. We can be handed this incredible opportunity, a new idea, a new friendship, a new career path. But if it doesn't look like the currency we're used to, we risk throwing it away as if it's worthless. We can literally mistake a fortune for pocket change, all because it looked unfamiliar. So this is where it all comes together. All these ideas, from Peter's resistance, the spy's fear, all the way to this dollar analogy, they all merge into one final, really powerful takeaway for you to think about in your own life. And that is the question this whole explainer leaves us with. When you look at your own life right now, what new currency might you be undervaluing? Is there an opportunity, an idea, maybe even a person that you're kind of dismissing just because it's new and unfamiliar? Something to think about.
Thanks for watching.